It's Julia Renee.
And Kendall Aaliyah. Welcome back to the Know Your Power podcast. What's up, guys?
So
there is still an airplane going overhead, so if you hear it, so sorry about it. Today, we're bringing back bodybuilding tea.
What's the tea? There's so much tea. There's other tea that's like too deep that I don't want to go into.
Okay. Which you need to tell me off camera.
I didn't
look it up because I was like, okay.
Don't let me forget because it's not surprising.
Okay. I'm scared, but I'm ready. All right. We do have a lot of tea, so we're just going to jump right into it. We're going to start with CBUM, of course.
Yeah. And when you guys are like listening to this, we film a week in advance to be extra prepared because we're organized. So some of this stuff is like, okay, this is old, but honestly, it's still continuing. Yeah. So yeah, that really shocked me. Kendall sent me a photo and was like, is CBUM back? All caps.
He is back. So as we know, or you should know at this point, CBUM just won his 6th Mr. Olympia title for Classic Physique a few weeks ago now at this point. And he announced during his like award speech that he is retiring. He's leaving the sport. He has left his impact. His speech is amazing. Yeah. His speech was amazing. If you haven't watched it, I'm sure it's all over YouTube, so go find it.
People have probably made motivational, like dark and edgy gym things.
For sure. And then, so we're all like mourning the loss of CBUM basically in his competition career. And then as of yesterday, I believe, he posts a picture and announces that he is 3 weeks out from the Evis, I hope I don't butcher this, Evis Prague Pro Show in Europe. So in 3 weeks, he's competing again. But here's the plot twist. He is known for Classic Physique. That is what he has won several titles in. That is what he has set the like industry standard in. And now he is going to open bodybuilding.
Thanks for the whiplash, CBUM.
Pretty crazy. Well, I panicked because
I've been an emotional roller coaster for a month.
That you're never going to see him again. But I had seen it on a friend of mine's story. She posted CBUM didn't retire. So then I go into panic mode and I like click on the post. I send it to Julia because I knew you would freak out more than I'm freaking out. But okay, so his caption reads, because I think seeing, hey, I'm 3 weeks out. And then I saw it on like the show's page, which like really confused me. Yeah. So we're all kind of like, is he retired or not? He does say, unfortunately, in his YouTube video that I watched that was talking a little deeper on this, to not get our hopes up. Okay. This does not mean he's back, that he is just doing open bodybuilding because that's where he started his career. So he wants to end his career with it. He also noted, and I totally respect this, that the last 6 years of competing have been so stressful and so high pressure for him, holding this title, keeping this title. True. Everyone expects him to win, that he just wants to have like a fun little show to be like, peace out, guys.
So he wants to have a show that he loses at?
Maybe.
No, I mean, honestly, like he has a very good chance of winning. Yeah. Like stepping into just open bodybuilding 3 weeks out. But I'm saying it's like, the way that he said it is almost like there's no pressure of him winning. So he can literally just go in there and be like, I didn't even make top 5, you know?
Like there really is no expectation though, because we all know this isn't quote unquote his division, the way Classic is his division, you know? So he does also talk about, and like this is something we don't really think of because thankfully there's no weight classes in women's bodybuilding. Actually there might be in women's open, but not in like in wellness by any means. He was saying how he had to like really cut down this year to make the weight cap for Classic. Yeah. So he's excited because the next 3 weeks he gets to just carb up and bulk up and like be at the weight that like he might be in closer to his off season where he has more size and he doesn't feel like he needs to like die doing cardio every day.
That's kind of dope.
I feel like that must be fun as like a super muscular man to like finally be like, I don't have to like cut down or limit my training or like reduce my food intake to a point where I have to hit a certain weight. Like now he gets to just like thrive in muscularity, which is exciting. Yeah.
And I think that that's what is slightly annoying, I could imagine at that level, where like we even talked about this when we were going over like who won why Fran and Issa, like why the top 5 got their positions. And when you're at that elite level, it's like all of them have the physique. Yeah. That's not even a question. But and now you're getting to that. Well, the shoulders are too big. The back is too small. The glutes are too big on this side. The posing, like it, that's how like detailed it gets. So I can imagine that it probably gets slightly boring and very meticulous because you have to like really monitor these things. And if he was already monitoring, like making sure he's not going over the weight cap, like he's like, well, okay, I can't put on too much size, but I can't lose too much size, but I need to be lean, but I need to be muscular.
I'm sure his training has like been very similar year after year, because especially if you're winning and you're getting feedback of like, don't change because you won, you know, it's hard to be like, oh, okay, what do I do in my improvement season if I don't really have anything to improve?
Since I'm the standard and like I'm just so perfect, I just hold it here till next year. Okay. Holding something exactly where it is really hard.
Oh, I feel like that's harder because I feel like in off season when you are eating more and it's like fun to train again, it's hard to not just like want to get as big as possible. You know, he has to keep his tapered waist. He has to like keep a certain shape to him, while like open bodybuilding truly is like, how muscular can we get? You know what I mean? So I'm really excited. He did say the only way he would continue competing, well, he kind of worded it differently. This is how I took it, is if he wins this show, he's qualified for the Olympia.
Oh my God. Shit's about to go down.
So I'm just hoping and praying this man wins, because to see him on like the open bodybuilding Olympia stage would be so sick. And that would give him a full year to grow into that division if that's what he wants to do. It's pretty crazy.
And then he comes back like the next year's Olympia is like, no, but he's like, guys, but for real this time I'm actually going to retire.
No, but then he wins that Olympia, so then he's qualified again. So I guess you got to keep going.
Like, he's like, I'm just so good that I literally can't retire.
Yeah.
And they take it very seriously when you qualify for the Olympia. Like you can't just be like, no, I'm not doing that. When you're an IFBB pro, like you sign a contract that you're going to be there. Yeah. And it is highly frowned upon to not.
You hear that, CBUM?
It is
you
frowned
can't
upon.
back down. So that does make me hopeful. I did want to read some of his comments because I thought they were kind of funny. One of them says, when you finish the game and decide to just start some side quests. Because it's like, dude, you already won, you know?
Yeah.
Might as well try a new division. Another one, which kind of ties into this, says, so after this, you're trying men's physique, right?
Yeah. Oh, God, yeah.
Just like, let's try your hand at all the divisions. Why not? Hop on a wellness stage
Everyone
or something.
would be so mad. They'd be like, get out of here.
Well, that too, on a serious note, I saw some comments being like, if CBUM does win, is that going to just fully shift what open bodybuilding is now? You know? True. Because he does still have that classic look, but he is much bigger than a lot of the classic competitors. But that's why he was winning, is he's perfect.
True.
So, and then another funny one was, be right back, hold my 6 Olympias real quick.
Oh my God.
The comments were just making me laugh. Someone said he's pulling a Tom Brady, because I think Tom Brady had like retired and came back that same year.
He is pulling a Tom Brady.
I respect it, to be honest. And if I'm like not looking at it from a fan mentality of, yes, I just want to see you keep competing. It is like, if I was in his shoes, it makes sense. And it does seem fun to do like one final, like for funsies show, you know? In the division you had started with. It's just
so funny that he's like, I'm going to for funsies compete in a professional show at the highest.
And probably win, or at least be top 3.
Just a little for funsies. Just a little quickie.
I don't know all of the competitors competing, especially because I don't keep up with open bodybuilding. It's just not for me.
Do you know what the date of the show is? Because I'm going to be watching it like a hawk.
I don't, but we'll look it up after. And again, it's the Evis Prague Pro Show. So I'm sure we're all going to be looking and watching. But I do know a guy that placed top 4 or at least top 5 at the Open Olympia is going to be against him. So it's going to be really interesting to see him on stage next to him. No, that's why I said I suck. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. Yeah.
So that is the current CBUM tea, which shook us all. And again, this came out yesterday for us. So some more information might be out about why or when or how he's doing this. So I would definitely check out his YouTube channel because he's pretty open and honest on there.
Giving me whiplash, man. I was just getting over, my depressive episode after the first.
Maybe don't watch this show. I think seeing him for a final time might send you into a downward spiral. My man.
My man.
Okay, I want to know about, because you know all the tea on this and I don't, the Jeff Nippard situation.
What is going on?
I don't know.
This is probably the biggest what the fuck is up at the gym. So, okay, let me break it down for you. And there's more tea that came out yesterday in continuation to this. First of all, Jeff Nippard is a precious little baby gem.
The sweetest.
And the fact that this happened like shook me to my core.
For those who don't know, Jeff Nippard's like a fitness YouTuber who makes very scientific based, like really informational lifting content.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes. And he's been doing it for years. He's got millions of subscribers. We'll have like all of his stuff and all of the videos that I watched on this topic too linked, you know, in our stories. Everything that we talk about is always linked on our stories after we post. So yeah, he's been at it for years and still makes like the best like quality content. Like here's the 10 best quad exercises based off science and stuff like that. And how this all happened, I believe, is that Mike, which I didn't know about him until this situation. I had no idea who he was. Apparently he lives in Canada too. And him and Jeff Nippard train at that same Pure, what is it? That gym that like
we've seen it.
High profile
fancy Canada
Canadian
gym.
bodybuilder. Yeah, that one. They train at the same gym, which also was like, what? You did a video about him and he's literally like right over there.
That's
like,
crazy.
It's just weird. So he first made like a video, and in that video, he's talking about like how the science-based lifters and how Jeff Nippard hasn't even grown or changed or done anything with his physique like over these all these years, which Jeff Nippard is natural. He's a natural athlete.
I was going to say
always
his
been a
physique's
natural athlete.
insane, but you can't compare like a natural science-based lifter to someone pumping insane amount of testosterone and tren. No. So Mike makes a video about Jeff Nippard in that way, and I'll link the video. I don't know exactly what he's saying in the video, but I watched it. And so you guys can watch it yourself. But basically like saying all that stuff about Jeff and how like, oh, like you haven't even done anything, blah, 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 blah. It's probably because you're a science-based lifter. It's like, just fucking lift, like all of that stuff. Yeah.
And Jeff Nippard makes a response video, and it's so cool, calm and cash, and he's just like calmly going over his achievements, which you know him. Just being like won this bodybuilding show, won this powerlifting meet, like hit these records, did these things, just calmly goes over it and is just like stating like,
yeah,
there's nothing wrong with being like a science-based lifter.
Not even in an egotistical way.
Nothing in that video was like vicious, triggering, or anything. Then Mike is training a client because he trains clients at that gym. And Jeff Nippard is filming a video with his videographer at the same time.
Yeah.
So when I first learned about this, there wasn't actual video evidence or proof out yet. So they were just saying that Mike like basically pushed Jeff Nippard down like by his throat, like I guess a throat push, a throat push. And I was like, that's really weird. Just like the throat, like the throat and like, it's just, it's even.
Is there video evidence now?
And now there's video evidence.
Okay.
It's crazy. It's like, why? Literally Jeff Nippard's videographer is filming a video of Jeff Nippard. And at first Mike was saying before the video footage was out is that he was bothering him and he was like instigating him.
Which you mentioned this to me and we were both like, not the Jeff we know of.
I'm like, there's no way. I'm sorry, dude. There's no way. And their video footage comes out and you can see what Jeff Nippard actually says to him. So Jeff Nippard's doing he's doing like a cable workout while the video is on him. Mike like walks by and I think he kind of like shoulder like checks him a little bit or something. And then Jeff Nippard giggles because he's like, like, why'd you do that? And then Mike says, it's about to get real funny real fast. From like, they're really not that far away from each other, especially when you see the video footage. They're like pretty close.
Yeah.
And all Jeff says is, "Hey, Mike," so that they can like have a conversation about it. And they start like walking towards each other. And then he just throat pushes him.
Jeez.
And it's like he falls like over a bench, and his head is like way too close to, like, you know, those bars where you put your bars back and they're all like collected, really close to that. It's like he could have easily like hit his head on that too.
I was gonna say there's so much metal in general in a gym setting. To fall over is rough, but to like be pushed, and especially falling backwards,
watching
like, that's
the
scary.
footage is so jarring.
I'm watching it
like,
as soon as we're done.
It's in like 4K video, and it's insane. Just like, what?
That's crazy.
Also, there's literally a camera right there. Why would you do that?
I mean, crappy thing to do, period. But it's also like, why would you lie if there's video footage? He's like, no, he instigated it.
No.
Yeah, I need to watch this as soon as we're done.
It's so crazy. Like, just seeing it was like, oh. And he literally, like, of course, it probably wasn't expecting it. Like, trips and falls and, like, stumbles. And, like, his face, Jeff's face is like, oh, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, oh, my God. And then... yeah, afterwards, of course, there's people that are still supporting him and thinking that it's like that he was like in the right and everything. Then the video footage comes out and all of this stuff, and you can see it. There's video footage from the gym of like the top view, and you can see everything.
Did Jeff post this?
I was watching it on Greg Doucette's channel, where Greg Doucette like walks through everything and that. And then you also see the sound through Jeff's video that he was filming for like a reel or for YouTube, where all he says to him is, "Hey, Mike." That's it. And it's just so jarring to watch. And then yesterday when Kendall and I were talking about this on the episode, Greg Doucette released another video, and Mike launched merch that has to do with the whole controversy.
No way.
He deleted it after this, but I'm actually going to pull up Greg's video right now because I want to read.
That's crazy. I feel like, I don't know. I don't think I've ever heard of something like this happening, like within the fitness space or like amongst fitness influencers. Like, I feel like usually people are pretty supportive or like, stay in your own lane. Like, if you don't believe in science-based lifting, don't science-based lift. You don't gotta like freaking
literally,
beat a guy up.
Just scroll. Like,
no,
that's
literally.
Like literally just scroll. So the merch, the front of it says, "No content created against me shall prosper," and the back says, "Pray for the wicked."
Hate that.
And it has prayer hands and like a rosary. So it's also like, you have to bring our Lord baby Jesus into this.
It's also like, you know you're being the bad person.
It was like, what? It was so crazy. I'm like, so are you Delulu?
Apparently, if he thinks Delulu. That Jeff Nippard was making like a hate piece about him, you're delusional.
But what's also crazy to me is that he's the one who made the video first. Like, if that's truly the reason why he's so irritated by Jeff Nippard, because Jeff Nippard made a response video to his originally not nice video. You're the one who started it, bro.
Yeah.
And now he just made a simple, calm, cool, collected response video, and now you throat push him.
I do wonder if like there's any further tea or like backstory.
Like, is there any other stuff?
If they go to the same gym, maybe they've seen each other before. Maybe he's just always hated Jeff. Yeah. Like, you really don't know, but it does feel like weirdly, I don't know, like weirdly targeted. And like you were saying, to even make a video or say something negative about someone you're going to see every day is so wild to me, period.
Crazy.
Let alone like that level of conflict. And I just can't imagine. It just
seems like so much rage for such a little thing. So that's why you're right. I'm curious. I'm like,
insane.
Is there more?
Yeah.
Like,
which again, like I don't know. Obviously, not everyone is like always how they seem on social media, but Jeff genuinely seems like he's just trying to help people. Like, he's never intentionally came after anyone at all in his history of years on YouTube. He's really just here like, here's this research paper and
he's
how I
learned. Hi, my name is Jeff Nippard, and I'm here to tell you about the science of lifting.
Yeah, I kind of view him like a Zach, like just like a gentle giant type of guy, where I couldn't imagine like a very bro-y, like that type of like toxic masculinity guy saying something to Zach. Like that's how I view it almost in like my own real life. So yeah, it's just crazy.
I know. It's like, gosh. And then of course, like there's photos of Jeff, like he posted on social media, like a picture of him at the hospital, like afterwards and stuff. And he like explained the whole story and then saying like, this is what actually happened. And we have video footage. It's going to come out. And then the video footage comes out and it's like, what's going to happen about this? Something needs to happen.
He's good now though, right?
I think he has been kicked out of the gym. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure Mike is not going to that gym anymore.
Especially if you're a trainer there, that's your workplace in front of a client too. That's crazy.
I would be like, yeah, I'm never going to train here ever again or with you ever again. Like at all. Just imagine your trainers like, hold on, pause, keep doing your lat pull downs.
Need to go throat punch this guy.
Push somebody.
Hello?
Like what?
But Jeff is good, right? That was my question.
Yes,
not Mike.
Yes, he seems to be fine.
Okay.
But
that's important.
Mentally,
that's crazy.
He's okay.
I would also like, I don't know. I would like have anxiety going to that gym forever now if I were hit, or like just being in the same town as that guy.
I know, like that,
scary.
Like because it escalated so quickly. Like he genuinely, that's scary.
Yeah,
like, very scary.
You're a violent person. No one just takes to or if someone calls my name, I don't assume they want to fight. You know, to be like, oh, that he must want to fight me, so I'm gonna self-defense and push him like. Crazy.
Jesus.
Okay, so that's our newest update was the merch of it all, which is hopefully not being bought by anyone.
Yeah. It's like if you buy that, it's just like clear-cut sign that you support him. Right?
Yeah, and nobody should. That's crazy.
No. So send your love to little baby Jeff Nippard.
No, baby.
Because I just
Jeff's like, I'm doing just fine, but
I just see him. No, because I just see him as being so like adorable and like precious. He's jacked. He's very accomplished.
He fully just wants to help people.
He's never done anything that we know of like that's been controversial, caused him to get canceled. So it's like. He's literally the last person that I would have thought that would be in some tea. Yeah.
And I've seen him get like hate before from other very like, I don't know, metalhead type of lifters. And again, it's like, it's just not for you.
Yeah.
I've learned way more from his videos than watching some guy just lift and not explain what they're doing. Yeah. So I feel like, I don't know, maybe it's just you're not his demographic and that's okay. You don't have to send hate to someone because they lift different than you know? I don't know. That bothers me.
It's so annoying.
Okay. The last influencer we're talking about is Alex Eubanks. So we've talked about Alex on the podcast before. We don't know much about him or his character. We just don't really watch his videos. What we do know is the kid gets way too much hate, in my opinion. I don't think
he's always getting, it's always something.
And I feel like just from what I have seen, he's just trying to lift and share his journey. And people always have so much to say about his physique. If he's big enough, if he's too big, he must be on gear. There's no way he takes gear. His physique hasn't changed in years. Just like this constant cycle of hate. And I feel like people were really praising him in the beginning of his journey. And then once he got popularity, kind of switched up, which a lot of people do. True. We've seen that happen to other influencers before. So in the recent months, he's been getting a lot of hate. We talked about like someone filming him at the gym a few months back, just always having something to say.
I mogged him. I'm like, oh, shut up.
So cringe. So Alex made a video and he has always claimed to be lifetime natural. And I think everyone is believing him now because in this video, he had stated that as of like a week ago, he is no longer going to be natural. He still wants to be super honest with his followers. So that's why he's sharing this and like made it this whole big announcement. But if people follow you because you're a natural influencer and now you're not, like, I do think it's good to be transparent about those things, especially if you always preach to something. And now, of course, people have even more to say. I feel like the reason I saw this information is a lot of people I follow started making content about it, either pro or against his decision, why he's doing it and all of the things. And I just feel like it's a good conversation to have. So we're having it. So he basically explained a little bit what I saw on TikTok, which was like a huge video with like 1 million views or so, was his like announcement video to like, I'm no longer going to be natural. And in the beginning half of that video, it was sharing a lot of the hate comments he gets. So a lot of the comments are now like kind of concerned for him of like, is the only reason you're doing this because of all this hate you're getting on social media?
So at the beginning of this video, he starts it by showing the hate comments, and I'm assuming they're the ones
your physique hasn't changed in 3 years. You're small. Yeah, like what happened? Bro fell off. Like all of these like men comments. I don't know. It's not funny. It's serious because like cyberbullying is serious.
No, the people that make those comments are the ones that you should be laughing at.
Yeah. It's like, dude, it's never that deep. But so a lot of his comments are really mixed because a lot of people are all for, hey, I respect that you're being honest and transparent and sharing what you're taking. Like he fully broke down his dosage too. I didn't watch his YouTube video. This was just like clips I saw on TikTok and people reacting to it, which I agree. I respect. I think it's your body, your choice. Do what you want to do. Being honest with your audience like is cool of you to do. I don't think you owe anyone anything, but because you are always getting accused for this thing anyway, mine as well. A lot of people are also paying their respects because they're like, dude, you've been natural and training for like 10 or close to 10 years, like 8 to 10 range. So if that's a decision you want to make it. And then other people are like really coming at him for one, only changing because of the hate comments. And two, he does have a young audience that he has always preached how cool and important it is to be natural and the health benefits of it. So now it's kind of like, oh, so you're switching up your entire brand. So those are like the two different opposing sides I keep seeing now. And it's so hard because one of the girls I watched do a breakdown of it was like, there's usually two reasons people do this. One, they're a competitive bodybuilder because like stepping on stage does sometimes in the IFBB world at least require that, if especially for the men, where you might need to quote unquote need to take something to get to that level or to step on that stage and be competitive. Is he going to compete? I don't think so. So that's why she went into number two. She was like, number two, social media, if it is your job, and your physique is getting hate and you're losing income or losing sponsors or losing like certain things, you might take it to quote unquote, keep your job, you know?
Wow.
So it is like such an interesting way to view it because I've never viewed it that way because I definitely know some like male influencers in my personal life who do take stuff and it is just for the Instagram pictures of it all, but that is how they make their money. So it's like, it's such a weird world.
I was thinking about this exactly almost exactly like the other day thinking, you know, fitness influencers have made their brand and their business based off their body. And because you want to show the example of what's possible. And you're right, it can easily be taken to different levels where it goes to a dark place where you're only doing this for your business or you're only doing this to like keep up with things. This is why a lot of bodybuilders, like you see them where they're lean year round because they feel the need to look a certain way in order to keep up with the Joneses or whatever.
We've talked about how like both of our numbers usually go up when we are in prep or when we are cutting because people love to follow that journey.
And look, it's literally happens. And I have seen a lot of male bodybuilders also talk about it who do theirs, and I've also watched it. So there's a couple male bodybuilders that I follow on YouTube because I don't find a lot of women that document their prep. So I try to, but I will literally watch their views be cut in half when they're not shredded, when they're not competing in a show, and that their business also most likely suffers a little bit too. It happens to me also. I've had an extreme drop off of people from YouTube, from Instagram since I went into my post show. And there's the real people that stay, and I love you guys. Like y'all stay.
Those are the ones that matter.
Y'all are here for the thing, and it used to really affect me, like
because it's hard.
Because then you start to think that like, oh, people only care about me when I'm shredded, when I'm like suffering, when I'm going after this pro card or whatever. But the numbers will literally show you. And I'm assuming that happens to him a lot too, where if he's not shredded, then people don't care.
Yeah, or if you're not making progress or changing as much as you did in the beginning of when I started following you, oh, now why would I listen to your advice? I'm unfollowing. Like it's always something. And I was going to bring up Peyton Falash. Am I saying that right? I think you know who she is. Wellness competitor, just NPC. I do not believe she's pro yet. I do think she's going to get it because her physique looks phenomenal and it always has. So I've been following her for a while, and she did a pretty long off season between, like, I think it was her first wellness show or whenever her last one was, to now she's in prep again and stepping on stage, like, I'm assuming soon based on how lean she is. And she also addressed it on her TikTok where she's been getting like an influx of comments being like, what's your plan? Like, how'd your legs get like this? What's your program? And she's like, you guys didn't ask me this in my off season where I did all the work, that now I'm just getting leaner. So now you think my legs are big. Very,
very good point.
Yeah.
The on-season physique is built in the off season. And that's where nobody cares and nobody watches because you're not shredded. You don't have lines. You don't have veins. Like it sucks that it is this way. It does suck that it is this way. But it's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
And I feel like I get it because a prep physique or being close to show, it's exciting. I mean, like, it's exciting for us being in that stage in our journey, but genuinely, like, you don't look that way unless you do the full off season. So if you're just tuning in and just following the workouts during prep, it's like, that's not going to build the physique I just built for the last year and a half. You know what I mean? So it's a little frustrating. It happens
on CBUM's page too. I've been like watching different bodybuilders' YouTube pages over the years, like while I'm along with my journey. And it's very true. Christian Guzman, same thing happens.
Yes.
Same thing happens. And I know that I feel like maybe Christian talked about this. I'm not sure. I don't want to be putting words into his mouth.
Allegedly.
I don't know. I'm not going to say because I don't know.
Okay.
But when he does his summer shredding and when CBUM is prepping for the Olympia, I've watched their views when they're doing it versus when they're not.
Yeah.
And sometimes they literally get cut in half.
Yeah.
And yeah, that sucks because people are making money from their YouTube channel and stuff like that. And sometimes people are only signing up for like this portion of it. And I understand that, but I could imagine what that does to them at their elite level with their business and stuff like that. And it could end up leaving you feeling like, oh, if I don't look like this, people don't care about me.
Exactly.
So I should take this so that I look like this all the time so people care about me.
Yeah. And I am glad he's being transparent. And I hope it's not for the reasons people are speculating.
Yeah,
I hope he's deciding it fully on his own. He also did talk in the video about feeling like I think he got tested, but also some of the feelings he was having slightly lower test.
Yeah.
So it's different if you're doing it healthy. It's different if he did get his blood work and they were low and he's taking like a proper dose and working with someone that knows what they're doing, instead of just like taking whatever gear is out there on the market, you know? So I just hope he's okay.
I know. I think that like, you never know what's going on in somebody's life. Like, you know, it is an honor and a privilege to be able to make money on social media and stuff like that. And I know that like, I never want to be like, oh, this job is the worst and so hard. Everything has its sucky points. And at the end of the day, you're choosing to put yourself out there, and that's going to come with some repercussions.
Yep.
It's going to come with people giving you unsolicited advice, opinions,
for sure,
comments about every little thing that you can possibly think. I've had people tell me that I need to change my workout program and do something like this instead. Somebody tell me to cook my food differently than how I'm cooking it. I've had people tell me that I use certain type of makeup instead. You won't believe how many things that people have tried to control about my life.
Yep.
And it used to bother me, but now it's like, you know, they're free to make their comments and things like that. But it's the creator's responsibility to handle their mental health during that time.
Yeah.
Because this is how they're choosing to, you know, live their life. But I would hope, and I think people think that he's only doing this because of everyone says I'm small, so I'm going to prove them wrong and show that I'm not small, because of the way that he started with the comments. Yeah. I think if he didn't even mention what anybody...
if he was like, hey, I'm just doing this.
Yeah, if he didn't mention what anybody else thought about his physique and justified it in that way and just said, hey, this is what I'm doing, this is why I'm doing it, this is what feels right to me, and I'm going to take you guys along the journey with me, maybe we wouldn't think that way.
Because I do still believe that he's put a lot of thought into this, but I do think it is hard to not let those like constant comments sway you. And I also, the switch up is crazy because I guarantee the same guys that were saying you're too small are now like, oh, now you're on gear.
Whiplash.
And you're like, hello, like way to bully someone into something.
Win. Like you can't win. That's the thing. It's
that too. You
can't please everybody.
The breakdowns I was seeing was like, hey, let's just keep in mind like the hate's gonna come regardless. And like if you're out there living your life and thriving in your own right, people are always gonna have something to say about it. You know,
it's true.
Yep.
No matter what.
A less influencery but still kind of a fitness topic, which I thought was crazy, and you didn't react enough when I told you about this.
What? When did you tell me?
We were laying on the couch in Houston. Sugar-free lemonade recall. Do you remember it now?
Do I?
I don't know.
Did you wait?
It was kind of late at night. You were a little sleepy.
They weren't sugar free.
Yeah.
Okay, they're full calorie. Oh yeah.
Okay, Coca-Cola owns Minute Maid lemonade, and they just had a full recall on their zero sugar lemonade because it is just completely full real sugar.
There's so many people that are way off their macros.
No, like so off their macros. So that's where my brain went first. Obviously my brain was like, what if I was in prep and getting this as like my little treat because I'm like 5-6 weeks out and can still handle like a little extra calories. And then I find out that I've just been drinking like 70 grams of sugar every day instead of what I was perceiving as zero, which is insane. So that's where my brain went first. My brain went to the bodybuilders, to the macro people. And then I watched a few videos on it, and the same girl, love her. Her name's Jess, by the way. And she's like a dark sport athlete, and I've been following her forever, but she likes to talk on these topics, which I love because I usually agree with her opinion. She brought up diabetic people or pre-diabetic people. And I'm like, whoa, dude, like that's a serious issue. Because for us, it's like, oh, maybe I'm not dropping weight. For them, like that is a full glucose level change, which is scary. And the fact that like
that's a huge mishap.
There just aren't enough regulations in general about what you can put on packaging, because I do know there's a ton of loopholes out there where like if you make a serving size small enough, you can say it's 0 carb when really there's a ton of carbs. It's just like the serving size is like 1/20th of a piece, you know? So there's a lot of loopholes, and I hope that something like this drastic that probably did have health impacts on a lot of people drinking it, that brings to the forefront the conversation of like, hey, let's be more honest.
I hope everyone's okay too.
Yeah, me too.
Like I genuinely think everyone's okay. Macros be damned, but you know,
it's serious if you have sugar issues for sure. So yeah, I just thought that was crazy because I'm sure that's happened before. And like we had the conversation where sometimes you like order a Diet Coke at a restaurant and you're like, what if it's just real Coke?
You're like
you never know.
This is too good.
Yeah. That's me with gluten food, because for those maybe newer listeners, I'm allergic to gluten. Sometimes I order a pizza and it tastes too good, and I'm like, they had to give me gluten.
This doesn't have that gluten aftertaste, that gluten-free aftertaste.
That's the exact same thing here, where like some sugar-free stuff really be tasting like the full sugar stuff. It's hard to tell these days. Unless you're like super in tune with like how sucralose tastes, you're not going to detect it.
I think it was last Sunday, I had my mom and dad over to just like hang out, and we had like dinner, and I always have zero sugar, like Dr. Pepper or Dr. Pepper cherry. And my mom and dad usually drink like the fuller calorie, like regular sodas. And I said, I only have this one. I had them try it, and they tried it, and they were like, honestly, it's pretty good. They're like, you can't really taste that much of a difference. They said the only thing that they really can tell was the aftertaste was just different than the other one. And I was like, yay!
It's funny. I've been having the sugar-free stuff for so long that sometimes like my boyfriend will get a full sugar soda, one sip, and I'm like, how do you drink that?
I'm like, whoa! I'm like a kid just like blasting off.
Exactly.
I was thinking, and I want you guys to let us know if this is an episode that you want, but the reason I thought about this is because that day that I was picking up the food for me and my mom and my dad, I've made like friends at the girls that are like right there, because it's literally like a gas station by my house, but they make the bombest chicken, Mexican rice,
love it,
beans, like it's so good. And I got asked, actually, no, this was at a different place. I got asked a question like, what was it saying? I got asked, what foods like don't you eat? Mm-hmm. And then I was like, huh. And then the other day I was getting, I think a salad. I was getting a salad, and then I got asked at the register, do you drink soda? So it kind of gave me this like inspiration of doing like a podcast episode of like the most common things that we get asked, like when we're out in public, just as like gym girlies.
That would be good.
Like, well, I remember one time at the airport, and I talked about it on the podcast when it happened. She asked me something like, should I just cut out all carbs completely?
Yeah, I remember this.
And since we're so like, and you guys too, like you're so in the gym space, gym girly space, that like this is what we talk about.
Yeah.
And it's so casual. So it's really cool to take a step back for someone who maybe hasn't started their journey yet or is curious about it and figure out like those questions that you get asked. So I feel like it might be
I feel like that's a good one, because I feel
give like our honest answer, because I'm always telling them like, do not. I was like, no, you don't need to cut out your carbs. And to like the soda girl, I was like, I do drink soda. I just drink the 0-calorie soda. And they're like, well, why? And I was like, well, because for me personally, I'm all for drinking and doing whatever you want that fits your goals. I was like, because I'd rather eat more food than drink my calories.
That too. Yeah.
You know? And I was like, that's just me.
It's one of those things where when you're like a beginner, you're afraid to ask questions in fear of like sounding stupid or not understanding like the basics. But like, even like, sometimes I learn something from another bodybuilder and I'm like, whoa, I didn't even know that. Like there are no stupid questions in a fitness journey, and everyone's different. So I'm down. Even if the comments don't say they're down, I'm down.
Yeah. Let us know, guys. Cause there's some that I hear that are more common and some that are, I'm like, wow, like, where did she get that information? Like, you don't have to like cut carbs out, but then it also makes me scared. I'm like, I don't want people to think that. Yeah. So I just think it's a good
I've been getting a lot of questions recently about Ozempic, because I feel like it's just becoming such a household name. So I would be down to like talk about that a little bit too, and like how there's so many other things you could do first, you know? So just even little comments like that, because every like, I don't want to stereotype, but every older woman in my life has recently been bringing up Ozempic with me. And I have to like talk about other alternatives and what they could be doing first, and like how that is a very last resort type of thing to do. So just because it's so normalized in media right now. Yeah.
Like there was even, I remember there was this one time where I was getting my hair done at my mom's salon, and one of her coworkers was maybe like, she's a little bit younger than my mom. And, you know, we'll talk about fitness and stuff. And she's watches everything she eats. She's in shape. She works out. And she's like, I don't eat carrots. And I was like, okay. Like, why? She goes, they have too much sugar, so I don't eat them.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, carrots have too much?
Fascinating.
I was like, carrots have too much sugar?
Carrots do not have too much sugar.
I was like, no. Yeah. No, they don't.
Well, that too. Like,
I was like, well, what?
Sometimes people look at, because we've talked about like setting SMART goals and obtainable goals. Sometimes people go into like the nitty gritty first. And I'm like, whoa. Let's cut out soda before we worry about if carrots versus cucumbers is like the better option. You know, like we don't have to get that specific.
Let's stop ordering DoorDash every day. Okay, let's just start with that.
Just like making bigger changes.
Stop drinking every single weekend. Yeah. You know, like let's just start there. So I think it'd be a fun topic of like chatting about things we get asked in public.
That's such a good one.
Things gym girls get asked in public. And then
maybe if you guys listening, maybe if you are newer in your journey or you've just always had a question, submit it. What?
I'm also thinking about the silly like bro ones. They're like, could you like leg press a truck? Or they'll be like, I need your leg to, and there's nothing wrong with this. Yeah. Most of them are very kind, but I think it would be like funny, silly,
I realized
silly, goofy,
how many
and
people
educational.
Ask you questions being with you for a full weekend. It's truly insane. No one ever comes up to me at the gym. I am very unapproachable. So many people came up to you while we were at Alpha Land. So many.
Who?
Just asking random stuff. Like we were still in our zone. Okay. And like, again, all very nice. But I'm like, wow, people don't talk to me. I think because you do respond and you're nice, and I'm very like headphones in, head down. I don't want to talk to anyone respectfully. It's just my mindset in the gym.
Sometimes you just want to do your workout.
But no, I thought it was fun. I was like, wow, like you really engage with a lot of people.
Maybe I have an inviting face.
You're friendly.
That's good to know.
I also think you're just like still so lean and obviously so muscular that like it's polarizing. People want to know what you do. It makes sense.
Yeah, I had a guy come up to me at the gym yesterday and he's like, "Are you a bodybuilder?" And I was like, "Yeah." He goes, "Are you getting ready for a show?" And I was like, "No, I just finished my season." I was like, "Are you a bodybuilder?" He goes, "No." He's like, "But I admire the discipline and everything."
Yeah.
And stuff like that. And I was like, "The fact that you thought I was getting ready for a show?" I was like, "Thanks."
I do think that too. Everyone you told you were in an off season at Alpha Land, they were like, "Huh?"
And I was like, I was like, "You know how much this means to me."
No, it's always so sweet. I'd say the most questions I get in the gym a lot of the times are anytime I bring out my camera. I always get asked what's it for, what I use, if they like a certain camera I recommend, if I do YouTube, if I do social media. Like those are fun conversations though, because I'm always like, "Yeah, I do." And they're like, "How is it?" And I'm like, "It's pretty great."
I remember there was this one, we're basically doing the episode right now.
Yeah, sorry.
There was this
We're not actually answering them though, but this is a sneak peek at the questions we could be answering.
So when I was actually at my last show at Legion, I did my last cardio session in the morning. Ian was with me and he was following me around, videoing my last cardio session. And there's this adorable older man and he's like doing the treadmill like adjacent to me. And I'm just doing my cardio and everything. And he keeps looking back at me like very, I could tell he was confused on why I had a videographer with me. And I was like, I totally get it. Yeah. I look like a diva. I know. And I just like made sure, like, I was like, I'm going to catch his eye just in case like he wanted to say something. I didn't want to seem like, and he goes, "What's that camera for? What are you doing?" And I was like, "It's for YouTube." He goes, "What's YouTube?" I was like, "That's so cute."
I love that.
And I was like, "Well, I'm a bodybuilder and I'm competing in a show tomorrow and I document my series, like my cutting series, and take people along with it. So this is my videographer, Ian. So he helps me in the days like where I can't do it myself."
Yeah.
And he was like, "Oh, that's cool." And he goes, "Can you watch it on TV?" And I was like, "Well, you can."
Technically.
But I was like, "It's more of like a social media kind of like platform and stuff." He goes, "Well, I don't watch TV. I haven't watched TV since 1989. And I was like, "Really?"
This guy sounds like the most adorable man.
He was so cute. And I was like, if you wanted to see what it looks like, he goes, "Oh, I don't have any of that."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Well, okay. So you'll never see it, but this is what it is." Okay. It was cute. So
every time I've tried to, last tangent, and then we'll close out and we'll do a full video on this. This isn't a question though. Every time I've tried to explain my platform to my dad, that's almost exactly how it goes. Because sometimes he watches the podcast, but like, I remember there was a day where I met like multiple listeners and like some watchers of YouTube, and it was just like a really exciting, like that doesn't happen every day for me. So I like called my dad and I was like, "I'm famous." And like, of course I said it super jokingly, but then he was like, I had him guess how many followers I had, and he was like 1,200. And I was like, and I told him, and he just fully like moved on to the next topic, couldn't care less.
Just doesn't.
And I was like, "Love you so much." I was trying to brag, but thank you for keeping me humble.
Cute.
He's like, "Okay, 6. So anyway, when are you visiting?" And I'm like, "Okay."
My dad is the complete opposite. My dad literally thinks he's famous.
I love it.
My dad is the star of my YouTube channel. Every time he's on, he's like, "Oh my God."
It's so funny.
He's like, "There's so many people just want to meet me and see me." And
it has to be such like an odd feeling because social media is still so new, and like we even didn't like fully grow up with it. So like even for me, sometimes I don't fully understand how it works or the people behind the screen.
I don't know how we got here.
Yeah, at all. It's weird.
Literally never. It's weird. I never thought I would just be sitting on a Wednesday talking into a microphone. Anyways, guys, comment if you want to see a video of like the weirdest things that we get asked when we're out in public, because I think it would not only be like educational for some of the like the diet stuff that I get asked, but also kind of silly, goofy for any of the like bros that are like,
get some weird ones.
"Give me your leg day."
I get asked if I play volleyball at least like once a month.
I get asked if I do CrossFit.
Fair.
Which I get because those CrossFit girls,
they're jacked.
They be jacked.
They are jacked.
And I'm like, no. I cannot move that fast.
I cannot do a muscle up ever.
I did a CrossFit workout. I was terrible. So yeah. Anyways, guys, we love you all so much, and you're more powerful than you think.
Bye.